Okay, item number 9, public comment on items not on this agenda. It is the council's policy to refer matters raised in this forum to staff for investigation or action where appropriate. The Brown Act prohibits the council from discussing or acting upon any matter not agendized pursuant to state law. Would anyone like to address the council?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay, wait.
my name is André Carpio.
Would anyone like to address the council under public comment? Okay. Okay. You're up there now. Tell us your name and your street. Okay. All right. There you are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Name and street.
Okay. Yeah. My name is André Carpio. I live in Emeryville, 1264 Ocean Avenue. I'm a Belgian citizen. Many years ago, I sent a report to San Francisco Commissioner Jack Harlan. It was an analysis of the condition that created the collapse of the PG&E line, which ignited and caused a fire. And I did ask Mr. Harlan if he would transmit that to the proper authority to see if there was any need for any more observation like the one I made. And I did explain to him that when I went on the site, I made an analysis of the topography of the area, which is very similar to what you see in a building of dam, earth-filled dam or concrete walled dam. I've seen many of them in Europe, especially in Switzerland and Italy. And my assessment was that after I investigated the city hall, in which I talked to the city engineer and I talked on the phone to the building inspector, is that the permit was not issued for previous work that was done in 2008 by a company, San Francisco company, Darcy Artsy. And they did their own trenching and they did their own piping. I'm not sure if it was water or what. I didn't was looking for that. But my experience is that when you have multiple piping, in which in that area there is four major pipe, plus the electrical pipe. You have a water pipe, you have the sewer pipe, you have the storm drain pipe, and the gas pipe and the electrical piping. All that, if it's not encased in a vault, in which the accessories, when I'm saying about the accessory, the conduct that direct all these lines in different direction here, because the area is a perpendicular to the valley and it has a side street that goes up somewhere up. So it's a very elaborated connection there. And whoever did the work there, in my observation, did not fill completely the void that was done. And as a reason, then because of that, the PG&E pipe, which was the biggest pipe there, had the assumption of receiving all the pounding from the acceleration of the traffic that was going up and down on both sides of the canyon there, mini canyon. And as a result of the pounding, the pipe fell on a seam, on a lengthwise. It was not a question of the weld, it was not a question of the seams, it was not a question of maintenance, it was a question of the pounding of the pipe that made the pipe collapse. And in the collapse, it was not a collapse like you break a bottle of water, it was little by little, and with the internal pressure, with each pounding, it expands and retracts. And as you know, a tube, it doesn't matter how is good for compression and to conduct things, but it's not good to act as a bridge.
Okay,
and the PG&E line was resting on both ends, and by resting on both ends, it has to collapse. So at this point here, I think that there's been a miscarriage of justice in assigning PG&E criminal responsibility for something they were not aware that other people were going to trench above their material, which caused their pipe to collapse.
All right,
I think
thank
the
you.
city of
You're going to have to,
San
your
Bruno
time is
should look
up. You're
into
going to
the
have to
matter
wrap it up.
and
Thank
see
you.
that the city engineer review the location and accept responsibility that the city of San Bruno did not issue a permit and did not inspect the work.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, anyone else under public comment?
Good evening. My name is Bruno Vincent. I'm a farmers insurance agent. I'm a tenant at the building at the corner of San Bruno and El Camino. The city owns 2 parking lots. One is 5-hour parking lot. So the city owns 2 parking lots at the so I'm a tenant there, and one parking lot is 5-hour limit. The other one is 2-hour limit. And I'm one of the tenants. Now, we run a small business, and every day I keep running, moving the cars every day because we're given citation. And I propose that at least you give us permits to tenants, not to visitors. At least tenants. We work 8 hours to 9 hours a day, sometimes 10 hours a day, and it's very hard for us to every day keep moving the cars. The last thing I want to worry about is parking. I go to banks, I meet with customers, and it's always on the top of my head every day where I'm going to park, because we can't park more than 5 hours on one side. It is usually full, and I go in the morning early, but I'm okay. But if I have an appointment, come back, then I lose my spot. Then I have to park at a 1-hour parking spot. Then I have to move the car one more time. So every day I keep moving the car, so all day long. So I believe you should give us, at least tenants. I'm not the landlord, just a tenant. Give us the permits so that we can park the cars all day long. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you spoke to me about this before,
Yes.
so staff is aware of it. Anyone else under public comment?
Yes, I do. I'm Joan Evans. And I live
Speak
at-
right into that microphone, please.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm Joan Evans, and I live at 202 Terrace Avenue, and I've come to talk to you tonight about the next door application on the internet. And I have a packet for each one of you. I'd like to give it to me. Oh, okay. Thank you. Anyway, it gives you some information that I've gathered in the course of looking into this practice. Number one, I'd like to say that I spoke with Jeff, now am I going to get his name right? Commander Jeff Caldwell today. And I am proud to say that the city of San Bruno's police department has amended their practice of posting the information regarding arrests on the internet site next door, and that they had previously done this with the internet sites of Facebook and Twitter. So part of what I came to talk to you tonight about has been indeed resolved. And that's a wonderful thing that our city has decided to not post the names of people that have been arrested, but rather just to put the circumstances of the arrest and not publicly shame people, which I found to be quite a distasteful thing that we were engaged in on the internet, especially when people's responses to the arrest of different people were not in good taste. So that addendum is indeed included in the packet that she has. We are a small community, 5.5 square miles of approximately 42,000 people. And any citizen who wants to know who is being arrested can obtain that information from the county jail. What we are, according to Nextdoor, have a population of 1,441 people who are on this application who have been receiving this information from the police department. And they include not only San Bruno, but also Mills Park, Huntington Park, downtown San Bruno, Millbrae, Linden Avenue, Marina, Millbrae, Loma Hills, Linden, San Anselmo, and Santa Lucia. So we are not just talking about our own town, but also neighboring towns. Commander Jeff Caldwell from the police department put out what I consider a very compassionate note to a Mr. Marches, who was concerned about this practice of presenting names of people who had been arrested. And I said I had included it in my packet. However, of course, my printer went wonky tonight, as they always do when you are trying to depend on them, and the color part wasn't working, and so instead I'm going to read his statement. The subject arrested here will have an opportunity to testify in court. An arrest does not equate to a conviction. The San Bruno Police Department releases information such as this to alert the community as to what is occurring and how the police department handled it. In most cases resulting in the arrest of an adult, this information is made public and offered to the public, either by the public jail or the arresting agency. Another example of this would be an arrest made by San Bruno's officers of a residential burglary suspect or robbery suspect. Most times we will notify our citizens of the arrest and identify the person arrested. Arrests are a matter of public record. If you would like more clarification on this matter, please feel free to call me directly. And Mr. Jeff Caldwell was kind enough to answer my call, return it today, and say to me, "Joan, you're the only person who's called me." I said, "Well, I'm interested in this," and indeed, that is why I have called.
Okay. Joan, you're going to have to wrap it up here pretty quick.
Okay, I will. And I have included in this packet the addendum that that Commander Jeff Caldwell gave me this afternoon, and I think it's something that the San Bruno, city of San Bruno, who we call ourselves the city with a heart, can lead in California to look at this law. And it is discussed in the public posting of the government of the Code of California. I give you the information in the addendum that is attached, and it is stating basically that our law in California is saying that anyone who is arrested, that their arrest is made public.
Thank you.
And so I would like for you to consider that in looking at leading this state to having a better mandate and a better law, and to looking at the notes that I included regarding words for the council to consider. I am a licensed clinical social worker, a certified employee, assistant professional,
we have all your notes.
and
So,
the homeowner and citizen of San Bruno.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
your attention tonight. I appreciate it.
okay. Chief, any comments regarding this item?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to address this issue. I believe the amendment that Ms. Evans is referring to regarding the way that we're posting arrests on social media is to try, in an effort to direct folks to our webpage, which we're very proud of as a city. We think it's a strong, robust webpage. We continue to include the names of arrestees in those press releases that are listed on the webpage. So typically now when you look at Facebook, Nextdoor, or some other social media outlet, we'll refer you to the press release on our webpage via a link that will include the subject's name who was arrested. California Government Code Section 6254 requires that arresting agencies provide the full name and occupation of every individual arrested by our agency, the individual's physical description, including the date of birth, color of eyes and hair, sex, height and weight, time and date of arrest, the time and date of booking, the location of the arrest, the factual circumstances surrounding the arrest, the amount of bail set, the time and manner of release or the location where the individual is currently being held, and all charges the individual is being held upon, including any outstanding warrants from other jurisdictions or parole or probation holds. So we're required by law to make that information available. We only prepare press releases for those crimes that would interest the community or have some impact on the community. And in doing that, we want to make sure that our residents have the same amount of information that we're putting out to the press in a timely manner. So that's the process that I think Ms. Evans described or was described to Ms. Evans today. So the names of folks are still being released. We're just doing it via the press release process, and we're directing folks to our webpage to access that information.
All right. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Anyone else under public comment? Thank you.
Ryan Mursi, Keynes Avenue. In a recent legal settlement, the City of San Bruno has agreed to pay a resident $6,250,000. This settlement, according to the lawsuit, stems from the city's liability in an auto and motorcycle accident that occurred on April 26, 2014, at the intersection of Jeffrey and Susan Drives. The motorcyclist lost his leg and is now disabled for life. I think we all share in the sorrow and the pain of his suffering. This particular intersection, along with many others in our community, has been neglected by the city's management and has lacked adequate code enforcement. The driver of the automobile, according to the legal documents, was unable to see the motorcyclist as he was pulling out into traffic onto Susan Drive from Jeffrey Drive. Based on the information in the lawsuit, the city's failure to enforce existing parking codes, i.e. painting curbs red at corners far back enough for line of sight, failure to sight and/or tow vehicles that block crosswalks and/or handicap access points, played a contributing role in this terrible accident. As of today, nearly 2.5 years later, after this tragic event, the city manager has done nothing, and I do repeat, nothing to rectify the safety issues in that area. I took photographs yesterday to prove it. Our city manager, Connie Jackson, has been silent on the issue. No public comment and nothing on nextdoor.com. The silence is deafening. What I find upsetting is the city manager has not informed us of the settlement, nor have the dangers been rectified. If there are plans to rectify these safety issues, I cannot find any information on any city website. These issues will cause further accidents, resulting in more injuries and possible death. The people of San Bruno will ultimately be responsible for the financial damages. Not only has a man lost his leg, but if you divide the amount of the settlement by the population of San Bruno, that is nearly $150 per every man, woman, and child. Moreover, and of a more immediate concern, the safety issues that caused this accident remain unaddressed in various places throughout our city, and not just on Susan Drive. We must solve these issues before someone else is badly injured or killed because of the negligence on the part of the city's management. I hope we can start a dialogue on how to improve safety and fiscal responsibility in San Bruno. Maybe if we make enough noise, our city manager will finally pay attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark, anything on that?
This was an unfortunate accident with some serious injuries. I think we all know that cities have more insurance than drivers who are involved in auto collisions as a result of that. Cities often become deep pockets for these kinds of cases. And so that's why the city has insurance for those very rare situations in which these serious accidents occur. There was one thing Mr. Mursi said that's misleading and actually not the case. There aren't any codes that require cities to paint red curbs in the area that was involved in this particular collision. There was a settlement in the case, as you know, that was paid in full by the city's risk pool and insurance carrier. Also, the city does remain committed to identifying areas in which the risk of accidents can be minimized or reduced by a variety of measures. And so, for example, the city is specifically reevaluating areas around the Skyline Boulevard and elsewhere throughout the city to address line of sight issues and other potential safety issues. As you can imagine, there are a great number of intersections in the city, not all of which are amenable to a simple solution, and there are a lot of competing interests that have to be balanced. But I wanted to make sure the record was clear about not only what the settlement was about, but also what the city's doing about it.
All right, thank
Thanks.
you. Okay, conduct of business.
Through the chair,
Irene?
may I also make a statement?
Sure.
Thank you. I think that the other piece that was misleading is that the statement that the city manager isn't doing anything. I think that's totally misleading. She may not be blasting it on next door. That's not necessarily something that the city manager would do, has to do, spends her time doing. She is deeply concerned with traffic safety. She's I don't want to energize, reauthorized, directed her staff to carefully look at, somebody's nodding over there, I finally got the right word, redirected her staff to scrutinize everything that we do, that Traffic and Safety Commission does, to make sure that we have the safest city we can possibly have. So I just wanted to make sure we said that.
Thank you.